Revive FM or its management.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Muazzam Ali Sandhu, and you are watching and listening Revive FM 94.0, your voice with Muazzam Ali Sandhu. Today, we have our distinguished guest in our studio, Councillor Qaisar Abbas, who represents the West Thurrock Council. He is a very vocal political analyst, a community leader, and human rights activist. We will discuss various issues today in relations to so many matters going on, and also there are some landmark memorable events which is we compelled to discuss this today. One of them is the Marathon massacre, which happened in Lahore 7 years ago, 17th of June 2014. Right today's date, ladies and gentlemen, it has happened, and where the 14 people has been killed by the state police. It was alleged by the organizations whose innocent people have been killed. They said this is a state terrorism. Some said this is a very brutal act. The police acted beyond their powers, beyond their authorities, and they misused their power, and they apply force and the fire open fired on the innocent peoples who were not doing anything right there. So 14 people were killed. A very extensive protest by the Pakistan Awami Tehreek and their leadership has continuously been facing, but so far there is no result. We haven't seen the justice been delivered. There were so many JITs, investigation reports, High Court justice reports, and then the Dr. Tahrul Qadri, the chairman of Pakistan Awami Tehreek, he was promised by the then Chief of Army Staff and then Chief Justice of Pakistan, Justice Saqib Nisar, that the justice will be delivered. But however, till date, we haven't seen the justice being delivered. It is a very sad day for the families who lost their beloved ones. It is a very sad day for the whole victims who suffered a tragic incident in Marathon massacre. And actually, that is a black day in the Pakistan political history, as well as the history of Pakistan, that when the matter goes to the people, the common man, if they have been treated unfairly by the state, there is no prosecution against that crime. The people who are in power, they easily find a way to escape from those criminal convictions. And unfortunately, the powerful people have always that privilege there in that country. It is sorry to say that, but we are still struggling to get the justice done. So today, I would love to invite our guest, Qaisar Gondal. Welcome, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, and thank you, Muazzam. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you very much. We know that you are very vocal always and raising your voice along with us for the justices of the people and for upholding the human rights and human values. I want your comment on this sad situation. 7 years gone, and so far, the people who lost their beloved one, 14 families, they have lost their beloved ones, and so far they have not seen a single step towards the justice.
Thank you for raising this very important issue. And as you have rightly mentioned, this is indeed a black day in history of Pakistan, when innocent people were killed by the state forces. And they have rightly stepped out of their legal limits, and they have killed all those innocent people, on this day. I remember almost every year we do come, on their anniversaries, we raise our voices. And this is very unfortunate that government of Pakistan hasn't done anything. This incident wasn't investigated properly. All those criminals, I would call them, whether they were police officers, whether they were politicians, whether that was a chief, should have been brought in front of courts, they should have been prosecuted. And this is very unfortunate. And this is also not fair to the people, to the families who have suffered these tragic incidents. They have lost their loved ones. So many people were, I remember, if I can remember correctly, there were over 90 people who were injured. So our thoughts and prayers go out to those victims, who were tragically killed on that particular day.
And Qaisar bhai, can you please tell us that if innocent people, when they suffered the injustices by the state organizations, by the state authorities, and if the justice will not be delivered, so what kind of the trust people will have to the state and authority? They lost their trust, I believe.
There's no doubt, people have no trust on the government, especially on judicial system, and the way how the government works. Obviously this is different government, so even this government hasn't taken this matter seriously, so this is state's responsibility, to protect its citizens. And at the same time, they can say whatever their view is, like why these people were there, why they were protesting, what are the, there could be so many reasons. But this, when you are living in a society, in a democratic society, everyone has right to protest. Everyone has right to freedom of speech. But this is not government job to suppress those voices. You can disagree, you can have, and this is your right to disagree with anything, but killing people, injuring people, and prisoning people, innocent people, I think this is condemnable.
This is condemnable. And there is one quotation and which says the legal maxims, which says the justice delayed, justice denied. And this is 7 years now. A very big questions to the judicial forums of Pakistan, which is the supreme judicial forum. If they are not delivering a justice in time, it is actually denying the rights of justice to the people.
That's very right. This is actually a strain on judicial system, I think this is courts, if I can remember correctly, I think they took even so moto action on this, but we haven't seen any result. When we say result, that means all those criminals, they should have been prosecuted properly. They should have been, and as you have said earlier, like the maxim, and the justice, it should not be done, it should be seen to be done.
Exactly.
People need to see what happened to those people.
Exactly.
Are they exempt from law, or why they are not being prosecuted?
Exactly. And I if I compare the incident which happened in your borough, Perfleet, when I think 39 innocent people were compelled and forced to die in the container. And you shared the post that the justice delivered. And we love to see that the people who were irresponsible, they brought into justice. And there was a big relief to all the families who lost their beloved ones.
Even you see this, you have mentioned the 39 people. This was very tragic and incident, obviously, no doubt. But this was also very complicated, because these different countries were involved in this, So it was very complicated. But, the government and the police, they have acted and they took this as their responsibility. They felt that like 39 people have died. So it's their responsibility to bring all those criminals to justice. And they have brought all those criminals to justice, So they have went to different countries, they have arrested those criminals, they have prosecuted them. So should be the case in Pakistan. It's not about who was in power or who was killed. This is government's responsibility. And police is there to protect the citizens, to protect its people. It's not their job to please some government officials, to kill people, to injure people. And I think this is so unfortunate. We see continuously happening certain things in Pakistan, and then nothing has been done,
Yes. Qaisar bhai, I want you to highlight that which things do matter in terms of bringing the perpetrators into justice and the criminals into justice. like the police should play their role, the prosecution department should play their role, the lawyers teams should play their roles, and the general public who seen the incident and who are actually the eyewitness of the incident, they should be participating into the prosecution systems in order to bring those people into justice.
Obviously, if this matter has been investigated properly, obviously, they would ask for all these witnesses to come forward. But obviously, witnesses and normal people, they know if there is nothing is being done, obviously no one would come forward. But when people believe that justice will be delivered, then obviously people will come forward.
Yes.
And we have seen this was done, this was filmized and live streamed on different TV channels. And we have seen who is killing who. And we have seen women, children being injured, being killed. And this was live. There is no doubt they can see who those criminals were, whether they were police officers or they were in plain clothes, some normal people of certain party. So there is clear, if the government is serious to bring these people to justice, then obviously, they have massive evidence to support their case.
Yes, exactly. We were talking about the one of the very famous Labour MP, Joe Cox, who become the victim of racial attack a few years ago, and she was killed by those who were the far right. One of the group of the far right who raised the slogan Britain's first or English first, kind of that. So the Joe Cox, she was the symbol of diversity, symbol of human rights. She was raising the voice for the many, for everyone. She believes in the values, human values. But it was her wife was stopped and she was killed. You want to say a few words for her?
Yeah, that was another very sad incident, in British history when a sitting member of parliament was killed. And this is so unfortunate. And I remember, we were probably the first one, immediately when we heard this news, same day or very next day, we held prayers in our area. We gathered, Muslim community gathered there. We sent our condolences. We prayed for Joe Cox, and her legacy, we can learn so much from her legacy. Obviously she was people's voice. She was there for everyone. Whoever has killed her, obviously, as we mentioned earlier, in democratic society, you have freedom of speech. You can
Yes.
say whatever you want to say, but violence is not a solution to anything. Killing someone, injuring someone, being physical against someone, I think that's not acceptable, and that should not happen.
Yes, exactly. But what do you believe that the government has took actions in order to the UK government I'm talking about, in order to make sure these kind of events will not happen again? And we have seen the rise in the knife crimes, especially in Barking and Dagenham, in Newham, in Waltham Forest. There was a young guy who was killed when someone came to buy a branded jacket from him. And recently, one incident was near the Barking Park when the boys was airlifted by the air ambulance, but unfortunately he didn't sustain. And what do you think, that the government is taking the right actions, or they in right directions?
Obviously, these are very sad incidents. Whenever any criminal activity happened anywhere, especially these stabbings in these days, they are on the rise. So
Yeah.
this is government's responsibility, and especially police responsibility, to take strict action against these things, and also to work with schools, to see why children are carrying knives. People are scared. There are obviously gangs. So we have to look into the background of all these criminal activities. Why our youngsters, they're scared to go out and they carry these knives. So this is obviously we need to raise awareness, and the police has a bigger role to play. But obviously at the same time, we have to differentiate between normal activities and some acts of terrorism, I would say, like especially in Pakistan, when these people were killed, these were killed by state actors, these were killed by police forces. And here these individual incidents are carried out by certain individuals. And certainly in British, whenever they find someone, or if they investigate these matters, they bring these criminals to justice. But if you compare this to the Pakistani government, those people, those 17 people, they were killed by state actors. They were killed by, on the orders of that particular political party. So obviously they should brought to justice.
One incident happened in Canada. That is also one of the very tragic incidents when a lorry driver, the truck driver actually killed a family. 4 people from one family, they were being killed. It is a target attack, and there were innocent people standing just because of their
religion.
because of their religion. They were Muslims, they were Asians. They were being attacked, and I appreciate the Prime Minister of Canada who raised that issue and who admit that we accept there is Islamophobia, and denying the Islamophobia will be unjust and unfair to these kind of the incidents and these kind of the families. So do you want to comment on that?
Obviously, my heart goes out to all those, the family, the victim family, and especially the child who survived, and wish him a quick recovery, So that was very sad incident, So obviously we have seen Islamophobia, not just in Canada, it is on the rise here as well, and even in Europe, France, in Western countries, and we need to raise awareness about Islamophobia, that is condemnable, and especially here, people think saying certain things against certain religion is acceptable. Having freedom of speech is something different. Having your views, we respect everyone's views, but killing someone, injuring someone, or being violent is not the solution. So obviously, these governments, they need to take this matter serious. As we say, we condemn anti-Semitism. So Islamophobia, we need to categorize this into almost same category. Then we can address, we need to identify what the issues are. And Islamophobia is the issue, and these far-right elements, they are using this against Muslim community, and we need to pinpoint all those people, who are being Islamophobic,
Yes, but unfortunately, the Islamophobia is the part of the society. It exists everywhere. The people are witnessing the Islamophobia. They've seen the incidents happened. They've seen the discriminations in the society. But unfortunately, the Islamophobia has never been properly addressed, similar to anti-Semitism. It never been given a status similar to anti-Semitism. It never been the part of any law of the UK similar to the anti-Semitism. Why the UK government and the political parties and the parliament are not taking it as it is required to do so? And the incident like what happened was in New Zealand, what happened in France, what happened in Norway, and now what happened in Canada. These kind of incidents will keep happening. And what happened in Finsbury Park, these kind of incidents are very, very common worldwide. We are talking about the world developed countries. These are all the top world developed countries. If they are unable to maintain the peace within the communities, and if they are unable to maintain the basic human values and protection of human rights of every single individual, regardless of their color, culture, their belief, their faith, then the big question arises that maybe the one community, the Muslim communities, they are neglected, or their rights are not important as the rights of others.
No, first of all, we need to understand, like we need to respect different religions, different cultures, different
Yes.
backgrounds, and especially here, we are living in a multicultural society, so everyone has a right to respect or practice their religions, their beliefs, even they have no beliefs, still we respect them. Obviously, a wider awareness campaign has to be launched, to raise awareness. And Islamophobia is indeed a big issue, and people are facing, as you have rightly mentioned, these racism based on religions. People are being targeted, people are being killed, for being Muslim or looking like Muslims, and this is obviously condemnable. As here, in the UK, different councils, they have approved petitions, recognizing Islamophobic definition. They have adopted this definition, so obviously more work has to be done. And this is something like, obviously this is also people's responsibility. If you are facing any Islamophobic issue or any racism, please report these incidents. The reporting is the solution. Reporting is the key to address these issues. When we will report, obviously it will go into the policing system, and the more reports come into their system, so they will allocate these resources accordingly. Sometimes we do ignore, we think, oh, maybe this is a minor issue. No issue is a minor issue. So whenever something happened to you or to your loved ones, so please do report these incidents.
Yeah, reporting incident is one of the very biggest responsibility of the people. But why the people are not reporting the incident? I know I've been a witness of a couple of people who told me that we didn't report this because we know nothing will happen. Then I encouraged them, look, this is not just the matter you will get the quick result, but at least the data will be collected.
Exactly. And this is the perception, you have rightly mentioned, this is a widespread perception, like, if you will report these incidents, so nothing will happen. But I can assure you, once you will report these incidents, it will go into the system. And if everyone will report these things, then they will know the issue is there. Obviously, the issue is there, but we need to report these. And unfortunately, without reporting, if someone is suffering, if he hasn't or she hasn't reported these things, so no one would know what actually is happening to
Is
them.
happening,
Yeah.
yes.
So the reporting is the solution. It's not obviously the solution, but obviously it will highlight the issue. It will see
Highlight
what
the
people
issue.
are suffering, and what kind of incidents are happening out in society. So
And
obviously,
yeah, and the police will be allocated the right task that you need to
exactly.
you need to address these issues
Exactly.
and points.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the parliamentarians will also able to make policy on those things.
Yeah, there was all parties group on, if I'm not, I can't remember the exact name, but it's all parties. Like, there's a member of parliament from different cross parties. They have launched this Islamophobic petition. So a lot of councils, they have adopted this definition of Islamophobia. But obviously, at the same time, we need to report these things if we are suffering or if we are facing any of these kind of issues. So we need to report.
Okay, so Qaisar bhai, I want to take opportunity of your presence because you are the very leading community leader, especially in Pakistani community, and also because you are councillor in West Tharak, where the I don't think so there are any Pakistani councillor representing the Pakistani community or Asian community. You are in a very diverse uh, uh, council. So I want to know that, and I want you to share with us and our audience about your activities nowadays during the COVID-19. The rules are now going to be eased. The people are trying to mix again with the communities, with the society. The businesses are. I know that you recently inaugurated few businesses, and the people would love to invite you as the guest of honor on their business premises at the opening ceremony. And I know that you engaged in not only the Muslim communities, but the different other communities as well. So can you please share with us that what kind of activities you are doing and how the rest of the people can join or engage with the community work?
No, no, thank you, Muazzam. Obviously, I'm not a leader. I'm just a normal political worker. And I do whatever I can, for the welfare of our my ward. Obviously, I'm the first Muslim and Pakistani who was elected for a council. And once I was elected, even during campaign, I never campaigned because of my identity or my background or my religion.
Yeah.
Obviously, if everyone has voted me, so
Yes,
I serve everyone. I don't discriminate against anyone, who
exactly.
they are,
Yes.
whether even they have not. Sometimes they do criticize me publicly, and whenever they ask me something, so I put those differences aside, and I can see how I can assist them or help them, in their queries. So I
Right.
always reply to them. So obviously, the COVID, we have seen people have suffered in COVID. Businesses, particularly small, especially these small businesses, have suffered massively,
Exactly.
during this
Yes.
pandemic. So obviously, the lockdown has been. We're supposed to be eased down next week, but obviously they have extended this till 19th of July. So, being a citizen, being living in our local areas, this is our responsibility to support our local businesses. So they
Mm.
are the one who were most affected, during this pandemic. So I regularly go out, I visit different businesses, I support them, I buy locally. So obviously, thanks to all those businesses who invite me and they regularly invite me, I go there, to support them. Obviously, with our sport and with your sport, these small businesses can flourish.
Yes, exactly. And how the what is your message to the listeners? How important for the people to get engaged for the community work?
Obviously, this is very important, because we are living in this society. Our children are going to local schools. We have to use our GP services when we have problems. We use our parks. We use these footpaths. So these are not some kind of like, if you are concerned about these local issues, so you don't have to be a politician to concerned or to know what the local issues are. So obviously, these things we suffer every day, and this is our responsibility to raise our voice and to elect those who know what the issues are and who are serious to address those issues or work towards the solutions. So people, whether you are believe in any religion or whatever political party you belong to, this is I think this is our responsibility to play our active and positive role, in local activities.
Yes, and also, Kasabai, can you please tell us that the people, most of the time, uh, they, because of the pandemic, it's more than 1.5 year, the people gone through with so much stress, so much depressions, they lost their jobs, they've been served the eviction notices from their landlords, they have the financial difficulties. Many people are struggling a lot, and they've gone through with so much hardships and times. They were disconnected from their relatives, their beloved ones. They're forced to live inside the house, not to share the close contacts with anyone else, apart from just go to grocery and come back straight at home, wear the face masks, use the hand sanitizer.
Exactly.
So much things which actually affected a lot of people's mental health. They are depressed, they are stressed, they also lost their lot of relations, their close friends. Many things happen, their life is much changed, and put a lot of effects in their lives. So what is your recommendations, how they can again mix with the people? Of course, sitting at home watching telly or using social media is not helpful. I think they must and they should come out of their house, get involved. There are so many activities, there are so many organizations, local councils have so much public projects going on. They can, do you really recommend that they should get involved? And is it very easy to get involved?
Getting involved in community activities, obviously, that's encouraged. But at this stage, is the situation is still same, and the COVID is, we have seen a sudden increase, in
Yes.
Delta variants, so
Yes.
we have to be vigilant at the same time, So obviously, people have mental stress. A lot of people, they have lost their loved ones. I met so many people, whose family members or close loved ones, they unfortunately, died because of COVID, or they themselves have suffered, or they have been admitted. So we know how difficult it is, especially this COVID has changed, how we live in today's society. No one would have ever expected, like, these things will happen, and we have seen, like, you are right, people are confined to their homes, but this is at current stage, I think that is the best way, protect us, our families, our loved ones, so at this stage, I would request you not to engage or go out, like, to follow government guidelines, follow NHS health lines, and also get the vaccination, because vaccination is the best available protection,
Yes.
Obviously it has side effects, and this is normal, having those side effects for different vaccines. So get your vaccine, and follow the government guidelines. And at this stage, obviously, we will not encourage anyone to mix up with others, or
Yes.
to do things which government hasn't allowed at this stage. So we need to follow government guidelines, health professionals guidelines at this stage. But obviously, once these, but at the same time, if someone is suffering and they need help, so obviously there are different forums available. You can raise your voice, you can contact your council, you can contact your local charity, or the relevant organizations to support those individuals or those families. Or if someone is suffering from mental health, then obviously, help is available. You can contact your local GP, or the
Yes.
charities numbers are available.
Yes, I agree with you that mixing with the people at this time is not vigilant. We must still continue observing the COVID restrictions
Exactly.
and the rules and follow the government guidance. But my point is, for example, so the council has so much projects for the local people. Very few people get involved. I think there may be the gap of communications. The council's message is not delivered properly. I mean, a lot of people don't see the council's website, their Facebook page, the local library notice board. Uh, how the people will get aware that which council, for example, Newham, Barking and Dagenham, Your, West Thurrock, the Red Bridge, the Waltham Forest. There are so many neighborhood councils, the Tower Hamlets. The people who are listening this show, how they can check what is available on their councils to get involved for them. Any
You,
source?
you're very right. First of all, we have to admit, like, not everyone has access to internet, or
Yeah, that is also
the
sad
computer,
thing. Yeah.
laptops, or the smartphones, or even if they have access, so everyone is not aware of how to use these new technologies,
Yes,
especially
exactly.
people with old age, so it is slightly difficult. And unfortunately, in these days, mostly things they are advertising. Even the newspapers, if you see, they are online,
Online,
so they do
yes.
publish a lot of things on social media, on councils websites, and even on these public notice boards, so I'm not sure how many people do read these notice boards, but obviously the council need to take more steps, but normally they do send these kind of leaflets, or potentially, if there is something happening around the area, they do publish those things, in terms of signboards, social media, or their websites. So the best is get to know your if you can have access to internet, check council's websites, check local activities. Even in libraries, you do have these notice boards, and do publish these kind of activities, so obviously it's difficult, especially in these days, to know what activities are going on. And I don't think any council is at this stage encouraging any physical activity, mostly meetings, they are even virtual meetings. But the best thing is if you are staying home, read
No, for
newspaper.
example, there are musical events, colorful events, and mela and fun fair. There are so many things in next summer coming on.
Hopefully after lockdown, obviously once these restrictions are eased down, and then obviously, there are different activities, there are different cultural activities going on, different borrows,
Yeah, cultural activities,
cultural
yes.
activities. So obviously, if there are cultural activities and if you're interested, you should attend those, and then obviously, with when you go, you see a lot of different people, and obviously, you learn from different
Yes.
activities, different cultures, different backgrounds. I regularly go out, I go to different religious places, I go to,
Yes.
different businesses, and every time I go there, I learn something. And if I go there, you don't have to accept or to
Yeah, exactly.
those lines, but at least you learn from those different activities,
Exactly,
by
yes.
visiting different businesses, different.
And also supporting different communities also give them strength to the community.
Exactly. But
And confidence.
I must emphasize at this stage. Obviously, Muazzam Bhai is saying in future perspective. When there is no COVID in normal
Yes,
situation,
yes,
we
yes.
should involve with these local activities. But currently, obviously, there are restrictions on singing, on dancing, even
Yes.
like going to religious places. So we need to follow the government guidelines.
Okay, one thing, we all humans are social animals, and being a human being and being the part of the community, every single person has a collective responsibility and
Exactly.
individual responsibility. One thing which I noticed because of the before it was very rainy. I think the rain this today is rainy weather and it may continue for a few days. But now when the summer started, people love to go out in the parks, in the public places. They love to sit in under the sunshine. But the issue which I observed is the cleanliness. The people left their wastage, the tin pack, the bottles, water bottles, tissues, shopper bags, the other wrappers, and so much mess everywhere in the parks and on the streets, on the different public places. And when the new people are coming, they don't like those. So, what you want to say that? Because do you really think and am I correct on this
You're
point?
very right. You're very right. Because by neighboring borough, South and Sea, they
Yes.
suffer this a lot. Because a lot of people from London and different areas they do visit seaside.
Yes.
Especially South and Sea or
Of the Brighton and
on
the
the
other
weekends
areas.
and sunny
Yes.
days. So even my friends, they put those pictures once these people leave. So they are full of rubbish and garbage. The people think it's okay to leave. Whatever is left over there. But this is not okay. This is our responsibility. If we are going somewhere, if something is attractive and we are going to refresh ourselves or entertain ourselves, then it's also our responsibility to keep that space clean, to
Yes.
keep our rubbish to ourselves or put to your nearby bin. Or if you are traveling and if you don't find any bin, use a bag and keep those things with you until you find a bin, or bring those things to your home and put those safely, dispose of them in bin. Obviously this is our responsibility.
Yeah, and I think I read a quotation that keep every place as clean as you want to see when you will visit that place.
Exactly.
So we are expecting that, when we go, the things should be clean. But what we are leaving for the other people, and the impression is very bad.
Exactly, and being a Muslim, obviously that's part of our job, to keep ourselves clean, so keep our communities clean, keep our suburbs clean, So if we are going somewhere, obviously that's our moral, duty or responsibility, to not to kind of throw our stuff outside. We sometimes we feel like I have seen so many times, even you have witnessed. We think, okay, yes, if someone is smoking, they will throw
the cigarette butts.
cigarette
Yeah.
butts there, or even like they will throw away these cans, empty cans, or a lot of other things. So I think this is we need to understand, like, this is our country, we are living here. If we are throwing something, so people who
Or even they throw the chewing gum.
whatever, even like obviously the people who are cleaning there are obviously then council has to put extra resources
Efforts
there.
and
And those
resources,
extra
yes.
resources, where they are coming from, they are ultimately coming from our money, those
Yes,
that
the
is
taxpayers. Yes.
our tax money. So we can say I don't know, the government will pay. So it's not actually the government, it's us who will pay for our own failures.
Or-
So just think responsibly. So these things can resolve a lot of issues.
Lot of issues. Thank you very much, Qaisar bhai. You are always great, and you always give a great solutions of so many issues. The last thing before we finish the show, I want you to give a message across to the audience about anything, especially the youths who are going to the new schools in next September, who finish their GCSE, or all of the people who will be facing ahead towards the summer holidays, and also the Eid is also coming. So I want you to give a comprehensive message.
No, first of all, thank you to you and Revive FM, for always giving me this opportunity, and it's always an honor,
This is your platform
to come here and to speak these wonderful listeners, as well. So first of all, I would like to send my prayers and best wishes to the victims of Model Town massacre, who were
Yes.
Tragically killed, and these are almost, I think, 6 years,
7 years ago,
now.
yes.
So our thoughts and prayers are with the families, and we also request the Pakistani government to take strict action against those people, and those people should be brought to justice.
Yes.
And my thoughts also go out to the family of Joe
Joe
Cox,
Cox.
and we need to understand the diversity and how we can learn from her legacy. And finally, on this lockdown and on COVID,
Yes.
so this is still our responsibility, to follow government and NHS guidelines.
Yes.
And not to listen to those rumors, on these COVID vaccine. So whenever your turns come up, please do take up this opportunity and get this COVID vaccination, because this vaccination is the best available protection at this stage. And when you are going out, not just think about yourself, think about others, think about your local community. And if obviously we discussed Islamophobic and different issues. So if you are a victim of Islamophobia or racism, so please do report these incidents. And we also touched on stabbing and knife crime.
Yes.
So if you also need to look after yourself and your children, and raise awareness about this very important issue, make sure your child does not carry these knives. You need to make them understand, like, this is not safe for you or your friends. So thank you once again, Muazzam, for giving me this opportunity. So hopefully I will speak to you again on
Yes.
Revive FM's platform.
Yes, inshallah, very soon. Thank you very much. This was the our honorable guest, Councillor Qaisar Abbas, and we have discussed today so many issues, starting from the Marathon massacre, then Joe Cox, the Islamophobia, hate crime, knife crime, and also the community issues, how the community can get involved, and the collective responsibilities, how we have to make sure our environment is neat and clean for everyone, and also how we can play our role when we see any incidents to reporting rightly and collectively. And also during the COVID-19, the phase is still undergoing, and we are still under the tunnel. We can see the light end of the tunnel, and we are going through. Millions of people have gone through and got their vaccinations, second dose. Whoever not has got the vaccinations, we encouraged, and our guests encourage all of them to must go for the vaccinations, and forget about any rumors or any conspiracy theories. These are all the false rumors, false conspiracy theories. You will be all fine. The England Public Health given the full assurity, the public health organizations giving the full assurity about those vaccinations, and you must go for that. And keep yourself safe and healthy. Hopefully, we will see you again next week. Thank you very much.
ये आयशा है, ये